On this week's edition of Getting to Know Our Heavenly Family, we are taking a look at St. Aloysius Gonzaga, the patron saint of Catholic teenagers and seminarians. Aloysius was born in the late 16th century in northern Italy. He was the firstborn son of a powerful and wealthy marquis, meaning a regional ruler. As the firstborn son, his purpose and mission in life was supposed to be simple: inherit, rule, and grow the portion of the Holy Roman Empire that belonged to his powerful family. From a young age, his family invested heavily in Aloysius, sending him off at the tender age of 8 to the court of the illustrious Medici family in Florence. This early exposure to the highest levels of European aristocracy and wealth would seem on the surface to be a recipe for acquiring a taste for the finer things of life. However, the Lord, as he so often does when our lives seem perfectly planned, had other ideas. Young Luigi during this time fell ill, and similar to Ignatius of Loyola, the founder of Luigi's future religious order, he used this time to grow in the spiritual life by studying scripture and the lives of the saints. This spiritual growth at a profound level for such a young man bore in him a strong desire for the Holy Eucharist. At the age of 12, he received First Holy Communion from his spiritual director. Saints often come in pairs, as holiness is a gift that is given to be shared. This was certainly true in the life of Aloysius, as the spiritual director throughout his life was none other than the eminent Archbishop of Milan and future saint Robert Bellarmine. Throughout his teenage years, his hunger for living a life of contemplation grew. He often performed vigorous fasts and spent many nights in all-night prayer vigils. This time in prayer implanted in Aloysius a new desire and direction for his life: to join a religious order. He visited different religious communities as a young teenager, but through discernment and direction from others, decided that his goal was to join the up-and-coming order of the time, the Society of Jesus, more commonly referred to as the Jesuits. Like many young men, even today, who desire to enter religious life, Aloysius faced pushback on this decision from his family. This came primarily from his father, not so much because he did not want what was best for his son, but because Aloysius was set to inherit his father's political kingdom and assets, and to enter religious life would mean taking a vow of poverty, a vow incompatible with the trappings of princely power. At the age of 17, Aloysius renounced all rights of inheritance and entered the Society of Jesus in Rome. It was during this time of preparation at the Roman college that a great plague broke out in Rome. It was Aloysius's great desire to be of service to Romans infected by this plague. However, at first his superiors denied him the ability to minister, as it would interrupt his priestly formation and was an almost certain death sentence. However, like his father a few years before, his superiors eventually relented and allowed Aloysius, now a professed Jesuit, the ability to minister to victims of the plague. Aloysius came down with the plague and died after receiving last rites from Saint Robert Bellarmine himself. Aloysius was canonized in 1726, and to this day his body can be venerated at the Church of St. Ignatius in the center of Rome. Recording.